Hello, everybody. Today I'm here finally with the Disney Mirrorverse top 10 characters. I promised this back at, 2,000 subscribers? And now finally, on our way to 6,000, it's time to make the video. And I just want to say at the beginning, it's not really fair to rank some of these characters with each other because they're kind of classed differently. Like, comparing a tank to a range character is a lot different. So I'm mostly going off of design and then characters I just enjoy playing as in general. You can look at a tier list and see who definitively the best characters are. So that's not the point of this video. I'm just saying my personal preferences, and that's all there is to it. And I feel like this is a little different because a lot of you can't actually play the game at this time, so you know, maybe my views will change how you view it. So other than that, I mean, as for most of the top 10 videos I do on these games, it's going to be mostly based on design. And there's some really cool designs in this game, so that's kind of how I've structured it. The lower ones will probably be design-wise, I like a lot, but I don't actually enjoy playing as them all that much. And then as we get to the lower end of the list, 3, 2, and 1, you know, those are the characters I really do enjoy playing as. So yeah, let's get into it. At number 10, we've got Scar. And this is a character which is like, I actually do enjoy playing as them, but the problem is Scar, whenever I try to play as him, he just dies. He dies so quickly for me, and I don't know if I level him up more, if he would be better. But I feel like it's fun to play as him, and he can be good and can really hurt enemies and kill them quite quickly. But he dies too easily, so I never want to bring him in. And design-wise, it's pretty cool, but it's not that different from his original design. You know, he's got that shadow form a little bit. It's hard to see how diverse he is from his normal design just in this menu screen, but he can get a little crazy. But I think also his design just works well in the game in general, so even if it wasn't changed all that much, he does still look cool in the Disney Mirrorverse style, I guess you could say. And I knew I wanted to put Scar on this list, but I knew I also don't enjoy playing as him too often, so that's why I felt that the 10th place was probably a pretty good place to put him at. So let's move on to number 9. And for number 9, I am putting Donald Duck. And this one is almost entirely design-wise. I see some people saying that Donald and Goofy actually look a lot like how they do in Kingdom Hearts. And while I'm not personally a fan of Kingdom Hearts, I'm sure that would elevate their enjoyment of these characters just that little bit more. I know that Donald wears a hat in the game, and that's pretty much all I can remember at this time. But they're kind of outfitted in more of a I don't know, attack-based style. They have more of like an armor sense to them, so maybe that's why. But I also think it's really cool to have an anchor as his weapon. You know, you never think to do that. And like Boomerang for Goofy as well. It's just like, that's a cool weapon for a character to have. So I really like that aspect of him too. And other than that, he's kind of just a generic tank. I probably won't play as him all that often, but I really do like how they made his design in the game. And like I said, the anchor as a weapon is a cool idea. So I commend them on that. Let's go to number 8. And for the number 8th spot, I chose, let's see, right here, Baloo. And I saw a lot of fans really enjoy how they did Baloo. And it's just cool to get Baloo in general, but that's not really why he's on this list. It's because they chose the tailspin version of Baloo to represent him in this game, which most games wouldn't do. They'd probably just choose his normal, you know, normal design from the Jungle Book movie. And I suppose when you're thinking about in terms of how are we going to make this character look visually different in Disney Mirrorverse, I feel like it's actually pretty obvious to choose The variant of him that actually wears an outfit of some sort. And then like using a propeller as his main weapon is, again, it's just like, it's such a cool idea. And I'm not personally attached to Tailspin in any way, but I just think it's cool to get that kind of representation. He's basically like a TV show character, which is really fun. So that's kind of why I like Baloo. Again, he's just another generic tank, I would say. And I feel like I probably have a lot of tanks on this list, but I think sometimes they have the most interesting designs. And also, I feel like there are more tanks than any other class in this game anyways. So let's move on to the number 7, where I have Ariel. And again, it's another one that I really, really like her design. And actually, I'm pretty sure she's high on the tier list as well. I don't personally play as her, and I actually don't have her very well leveled up, unfortunately. But I think her trident design is really cool. She's got like an actual crown and everything. And the fact that she is still in her mermaid form and she kind of just swims through the air, that's also pretty cool. You know, her movement is pretty majestic, and I think they got her animations really well done. And like I said, I think she actually is a pretty good character to play as. I personally don't have that much attachment to her. I think I only played as her like once. But I have always remembered her design, and I think it's really cool. We're still waiting to get like Ariel and Disney Heroes Battle Mode, but all the other games are showing that Ariel clearly can have a moveset, so I don't really know what they're waiting for. But this game is just another one of just like, yeah, Ariel deserves a spot, and she can have a really cool design, and I think they really nailed it with this one. Again, the trident is also a really cool weapon. They kind of switched it up how I would normally assume it would look like, but I think it turned out well. You'd think maybe she'd be a ranged character, but they made her a melee character, which is also an interesting way to represent her. But anyways, let's move on to number 6, which is Oogie Boogie. Sorry about that, by the way. Just want to look at his icon for a second. I think I actually preferred his design, how he looked before they updated the game. They actually changed how he looked. But I still think he looks pretty great. I think, honestly, he'd probably be higher on the list if they hadn't changed how he looks. Just that little bit. But the main reason I like Oogie Boogie is his weapons, honestly. I think they're amazing. The shield, he has a... Shoot, what is the name of that game? It's on the tip of my tongue, dang it. He's got that wheel, like the gambling wheel. I currently can't think of the name, unfortunately. I'm sorry. And then he has the dice as like these flails, almost. And the dice are really cool, too. And it's just all this like gambling stuff is what they chose for his design. And I think that's a really cool aspect of him. And I do have him level up pretty well, and he is pretty strong in my opinion. I think he's probably one of the better tanks. And I do enjoy playing as him, so there's a lot going in his favor. Again, it's just like, I preferred his design before, so I had to knock it down just a little bit because of that. But I think 6 is a pretty good place in that regard. I'm still trying to figure out what the name of that wheel is, and I can't think of it. But let's just move on then, I guess. Number 5 is going to be Ian Lightfoot. And I have a kind of a weird reason why I have Ian here. And maybe it's a little bit upsetting. But basically, every character that they've been adding to the game so far are classic characters. They're characters that, you know, a Disney game deserves to have. And even the newest one with Gaston and Captain Hook. We didn't have anyone representing Peter Pan. And Gaston is like one of the most iconic villains ever. So they're just going back through and adding all the classic characters. And in Ian's case, he's kind of the only modern Disney character that we have. And he's like super new. And I think that's a really cool idea. Now, I don't think his design is all that great. He really isn't that different. He's got a floating book and a robe. And then everything else is pretty much exactly how he looks in the movie. So I feel like they could have done a little bit more to make him a bit more diverse from his normal design. But he doesn't look bad. I still think he looks cool. And again, he's the only recent character, which I would love to see more of. There are a lot of recent movies that have some interesting character designs that would be awesome to see get changed up in the Mirrorverse style. So Ian's kind of the beginning of that. And I hope we see more modern characters in the future. I guess Anger's kind of modern from the Inside Out series, but not nearly as recent as the Onward movie is, you know? And maybe we'll see Barley someday. I would be perfectly fine with just getting Ian, though, if I'm being honest. So yeah. Anyways, let's move on to number 4, which is Rapunzel, right here. And this one's a little bit different from the rest of them in terms of I don't really think her design is either good or bad. I mean, it fits her pretty well, but it doesn't really stand out as like, whoa, that's a cool costume. I really like how they did Rapunzel. It's kind of just like, yeah, that's Rapunzel. And I think they could have done a lot more, you know. She's basically just wearing her normal dress with a little bit of armor over it. And I think they could have done more. She's kind of like the starting character, so I suppose it makes sense to just start off with the basic one. But like, think about Sully for a second. I mean, they took his normal design and literally just put like robot armor over him. They gave him a door for a weapon. Like, that's awesome. And for her weapon, she has the frying pan, which, well, the thing is, I actually really do like the frying pan. But it is just like a basic weapon. You know, that's what you think of when you think of Rapunzel. But the thing is, why I put Rapunzel here is because I actually really think it's satisfying to use the frying pan. And I think she's actually pretty great as a character overall. I actually really enjoy playing as her, and it's really satisfying to land hits with the frying pan. I'm going to move on. I don't really have anything else to say, but yeah, I really like her. But the character in the 3rd position is going to be Belle. And not only do I think her design is pretty cool, but also I think she's my favorite healer. I don't know if she's definitively the best healer. I think maybe Ian's above her. But I really like bringing Belle, and I often do. Her healing ability is pretty great. And then design-wise, she's got kind of like her winter outfit from the movie, and also she's got like a cape with a rose on it, and then a staff with the rose as like the power source, which is really cool too. I honestly, before recording this video, I did not realize that the rose was part of her staff. And that's probably pretty dumb of me, but that's a really cool part of her design too. You know, trying to make her some sort of magic wielder. It obviously makes sense to take the rose, the main source of magic from that movie, and make it her main power source. And again, I really do like bringing her into the game, and I think her moves are really good. So all that combined, I think that's a pretty good spot for 3rd place. Now in 2nd place, I'm putting Merida. I almost put her in 1st place. I really did. I enjoy playing as her a lot, and I think they nerfed her a bit in recent times, but I remember certain levels where I beat it solely because of Merida. Like, my other characters couldn't even handle it, and she was just like my saving grace. And also her design is pretty cool. Again, it's kind of in the same vein of Rapunzel, where it's sort of, you know, not too much going on, but like her bow and arrow, kind of made up of wisps and magic, is a cool idea. And then it actually turns into like a bear head when she shoots it off as her special attack, which is also really cool. And she is my favorite range character to bring in as well. I'd say Maleficent is probably most people's favorite range character, but I don't really care about Maleficent if I'm being honest. But I do really enjoy Merida here. And again, the wisp stuff is cool, all that. But anyways, drumroll please for the final character. The number 1 favorite character of mine is, of course, Baymax. I mean, I feel like that's pretty obvious. He's at the number 1 spot here. If you watch any of my other Disney videos, you know how much I love Big Hero 6. And considering he's the only character from that series in the game, it seems pretty obvious that I'm going to love him especially. And I think his design is pretty cool. The fact that they added a bunch of red and white into his design, you know, most of the time in his normal form, he's just white. And then when he has the robot suit on, he's mostly red. So to kind of combine those two, I think makes for a really cool design. I feel like he's one of the most unique ones in general. Like, they made a completely new robot armor for him. And then his power is really great. He just gives so much defense and also can stun enemies. He gets it so often. You can just keep stacking defense on your allies, and it works out really great. And then he's a pretty strong tank as well. And all the stickers on him I think is really cool, referencing the other Big Hero 6 characters and everything. I just can't get over how cool his design is and how much fun I have playing as him. But with that, we are done. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you soon. I hope you enjoyed that list. And I finally got it done. Goodbye.